Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Advance. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very, very, very serious show. Let me say this from the beginning. We're going to be doing two reaction videos. This is the first. This is one was going to be on DREAMERSPRO. My real reaction to this topic is going to be on my politics channel. Here's what I think. We're going to have that Charles Tabansi. Here's what I think. We're going to pin that in the comment section. If you guys want to go watch my unadulterated reaction to this story, watch it there. I don't have the energy for people crying in the comments today, but we'll talk about it here. So let's get into today's topic. As you guys know, there was another shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota by another ICE agent. I'm sure, or rather I want to assume that a good amount of you have seen the video now from multiple angles. And I'm also sure that many of you have come to your own conclusions, right? About the video. But there's a lot of political unrest right now in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And yesterday, I actually got the news that athletes, NBA players, and others are beginning to weigh in on this matter. I want to quickly read from an article from The Guardian. It says, Alex Preddy was murdered. NBA's Halliburton amongst sports stars to condemn Minnesota killing. It says a number of prominent U.S. stars have condemned the killing of registered nurse Alex Preddy by federal agents in Minneapolis on Saturday. Preddy is the second person shot and killed by the federal agents in Minneapolis in less than 3 weeks as protests over Donald Trump's immigration crackdown sweep through the city. I want to go a little bit further. It says to Tyree Halliburton's comments that Alex Preddy was murdered, the Indiana Pacers guard said. There were strong reactions from the WNBA. Two-time WNBA MVP Breanna Stewart held a sign reading "Abolish ICE." It then also went on. It says Stewart explained on her decision to hold up the sign, "We're so fueled by hate right now instead of love, so I wanted to have a simple message of abolish ICE, which means having police policies to uplift families and communities instead of fueling fear and violence." She wasn't the only one. NFL stars also reacted to the shooting. Former Steelers safety Ryan Clark, who won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now a broadcaster, paid tribute on Preddy to X. Preddy on X. He said, "Rest in peace. Rest easy, Alex Preddy. Bro was a hero. Prayers to his family and loved ones' senseless death." Again, Clark wrote, and some other people weighed in on the matter. Now, how did Chris Broussard and Pablo Torre enter the fray? So I was going through the internet today and I came across an article from Awful Announcing with the following headline stating, Pablo Torre calls out Chris Broussard's insane analysis of Minneapolis shooting. I said, okay, let's get into it. Another fatal shooting by federal agents in Minneapolis has dominated the headlines over the past 24 hours. And as with any political flashpoint, some sports media figures are deciding to weigh in. On Sunday, FS1's host Chris Broussard took to social media to share his thoughts on the incident, drawing immediate criticism from Meadowlark's media Pablo Torre. So let's read what Chris Broussard said. He said, "If you can't clearly and boldly state the craziness of Democrats being unable to define what a woman is and saying men can get pregnant, and the madness of Republicans defending the murder of Alex Preddy, then you're following a political party. Ideology, and not the Lord Jesus Christ." It then continues on. Torre did not take well to what he sees as an obviously insane equivalence drawn by Broussard between Democrats' stance on gender and how Republicans are defending the actions of federal agents in both Saturday's shooting and the fatal shooting of Renee Good just weeks earlier. Now let's read what Pablo said here in response. "This equivalency is absolutely insane, but there is a thorough line here, which is that this administration and its array of compliant media companies really want you to think that the marginalized people they're actively victimizing are somehow the real bullies. It's bat bleep." What are my thoughts about this? As I told you, if you want to hear my unadulterated feelings about this, make sure you go watch the video on my politics channel. Here's what I think is growing really fast, almost at 10,000 subs. Super, super fast. So appreciate the support from you guys. If you want to hear that, go watch it over there. I'll just give you guys my thoughts here on this because I don't have time for the emotions in the comment section. Look, the country is more polarized than ever, right? It's more polarized than ever. If you listen to Chris Broussard's statement He seemed like a centrist. I would say somebody that's in the middle, not really. He's looking to offend everyone, and he's looking to offend everyone and no one at the same time. Because you call out the Democrat. Now, how the Democrats ended up in terms of, gender and all of this stuff, how he ended up injecting that into this conversation, given what's happening now, I don't see how there's a correlation. And then, of course, he addressed the Republicans directly and then pointed to Jesus Christ. That's the position that Chris decided to take on this matter, man. I can't explain it. I mean, that's his own position. In terms of what Pablo said, you could clearly see that Pablo and even some of the athletes that spoke on the issue have a clear position on this issue. And my take is this: in this day and age, playing both sides doesn't work. Just go look at Stephen A. Smith and look how he's doing with his political career, number one. Number two, whatever side you decide to take, you need to have strong views. People don't want to hear this lukewarm, shucks. People don't want to hear it anymore, right? They don't want to hear it anymore. People have strong views. People either really love what's going on, and there are a lot of people that really, really, really love what's going on, and this is what I voted for, and blah, 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 blah. And then you have others that are just absolutely horrified by what's going on. Right. But the point is, people feel how they feel about the issue. So to have someone kind of, dancing in the middle of it all is something that really turns people off. Because if a Republican reads that, it's like, so what side are you on here? Right. If a Democrat reads that, they're like, what are you doing here? Right. And I think that's what Chris did. He tried to point out, there's Christ. You're not really following Jesus Christ. Newsflash to Chris: not everybody in the United States follows Jesus Christ. Number one. Number two, a lot of the people that say they follow Jesus Christ don't. And I'm a Christian, right? I'm just being honest with you. Now, I really, really, really want to go off on this subject, but I'm going to refrain from doing it because what I've noticed is that whenever we broach political issues, yes, people get upset and whatever, but people get way too emotional about it. And I realize that I have more leeway and freedom to say what I really, really think on these issues on my other channel. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to reserve my real comments for that show where I can really, really go off. Marco told me, he said, look, man, just give the news on this one. You know what I mean? You don't have to get too much into what you think about it. Just give the news. This is the update here. So the question I have for the audience is, whose side are you on in this back and forth, not this brouhaha between Chris Broussard and Pablo? Who are you with? Are you with Pablo or are you with Chris? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.